Can everybody hear me okay? Hello? I don't know if that works. Oh, we got some people joining already. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Hey, welcome. Great to see you here. Welcome to my second ever live stream. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, Yaku. Where are you guys visiting from? Where's everybody from already? Oh, we got a bunch of people joining. Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, that's really normal in American English. If somebody says, "How are you?" then you can just say, "I'm doing good. I'm doing good." And you don't have to say doing. You can just say doing. I'm doing good. Or I'm good. I'm good. How are you? I'm good. How are you? You're from Thailand? Fantastic. Sawadee. I've never been to Thailand. I tried to learn Thai a little bit, like 2 years ago. Yeah, wow, it's been a while now. So I learned a little bit of Thai, and I don't remember very much, but I would love to learn more. And if I visit Thailand, I'm definitely gonna uh, learn more Thai and then try to speak as much Thai as I can if I ever visit. Oh, Depok, Jakarta, Indonesia. Fantastic. I've never been to Jakarta. Saya belum pernah ke Jakarta. Do I know about Mongolia? It should be, do you know anything? I learned how to say uchlarash, uchlarash, yeah, like excuse me, right? And I think I learned bus, how to say the food in Mongolia, the big bus. I went to in Mongolia. I went to Gorki Terelt National Park. Gorki Terelt. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, please let me know the correct pronunciation. Um, I really liked it. I was only there for a few days. I went to Mongolia for about 5 days in 2016. I went to the national park and I went to Ulaanbaatar, the main city, right? I hope my accent is okay. In English, we just say Ulaanbaatar, but I know in Mongolian it's Ulaanbaatar, right? Okay, we've got a lot more people now. That's great. Welcome. Where's everybody from? I'm just talking about my experience traveling to different places. I'd mentioned that I've never been to Jakarta, but I've been to Mongolia. We have somebody, Uchral, from Mongolia. Hi from South Korea. Great to see you. Welcome, welcome. I I I unfortunately I only got to spend one night in South Korea because I was taking a plane from the United States to Vietnam, and I stopped in the middle. I stopped in South Korea, and I got to spend the night there, and I walked around the city, walked around, took the subway. So that was very nice, but I'd like to go back. It's been a long time. Wow, from Uzbekistan. Wow, welcome. Fantastic. Um, it's great to have somebody here. I don't think I've ever met anybody from Uzbekistan. Welcome. It's great to see you. So, one topic for today that I'd like to talk about is if anybody has any English questions about ordinary spoken English. Does anybody have any English questions about ordinary spoken English? Does anybody have any English questions for me? Does anybody have any English questions for me? If you're new to my channel, you can take a look at my videos and you can see if any of my videos are helpful for you. If any of my videos are helpful for you, I like to make videos that people can watch and learn from. I'm happy to do that. So if you like my videos, please remember to subscribe and share with your friends too. That's a big support for me. And again, today I'm happy to answer any English questions that you have. Guatemala, welcome. South Korea, fantastic. And from Myanmar, but now working in Singapore. Manglaba, I think is how you would say hello um, in the language of Myanmar. I think my pronunciation is okay. A Phong, let me know, or A Pong, let me know if my pronunciation is okay. I can never remember how to say thank you though. I learned how to say thank you in Myanmar a long time ago and then I forgot. So I hope I can get to go to Myanmar sometime, then I can practice the language. Okay, we have a couple of questions already about pronunciation, the dark L and the light L. Number one, um, can you say thank you in Vietnamese? Of course, I can say cảm ơn. Cảm ơn. That's thank you in Vietnamese. Cảm ơn. So first, let's talk about the dark L and light L, though. The dark L is made with your tongue. Imagine this is your tongue, everybody. Everybody's got a tongue like this. This is your tongue. And the dark L is made by taking the top and pressing the very tip and a little bit behind to the top of your mouth. Now, what's the difference? What's the light L, though? The light L is just the very tip. So if I say la, light L, la, 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 you can see the very tip of my tongue is all that's going up. For the dark L, the tip and a little more comes up. L, l, l. You can hear it's a different sound, right? So the light L is just the tip, and then the dark L is a little bit more of the tongue touching the top of your mouth. A couple more questions. I feel confused about bitch and beach. So I and E are two different vowel sounds, right? Itch and each, for example, itch versus each. This is the same set of words here. Itch, E, I, E. So what's the difference between I and E? Well, I is made with your tongue a little bit, so both sounds are made with the tip of the tongue pointing down. So if you say k, imagine if everybody says k, 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 just like the letter K. K, 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 your tongue, the tip of your tongue is pointed down, right? And this is the same sound if you say si, 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 si in Chinese, or in Polish if you say s, and you have a little an s at the yes, jeszcze. No, that's not it. So in Polish you have this sound sh, right? And in Russian and in many languages you have this s sound where your tongue is pointed down. When you're doing that, you're ready to say e, 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 and e is in every language, right? So from e, how do we get to I? All I'm doing is taking the middle part of my tongue and moving back a little bit. The tip is still there at my lower teeth. Ah, the tip of my tongue is at my lower teeth for both sounds, E and I. Okay? E, I, I, I. You can see my tongue isn't changing, right? The middle part is moving back. That's all. E, I. You can't see it. Unfortunately, you can't see it in my mouth, but you can see it. You can hear the difference. E, I, and you're just moving your tongue back a tiny, tiny bit. That's all. We call it a central vowel. So if you start from and then you move your tongue up your tongue is flat, and you just move the middle up a little bit. Then now you're saying I as in itch as well. Okay, we have a couple more questions. It's great to see everybody here. Thank you so much for joining. Area. Area, it's a difficult word. Area. Let's start at the end, right? We can start with ya. Area. Area. Everybody can say yeah, right? Yeah. Now let's add an E at the beginning. Yeah, yeah. Now we have the R sound. Ria, ria. The R in English is made with your lips closing like this. R, R, and your tongue is kind of curled back and bunched up. Your tongue is kind of like squeezed together. R, R. Where are you from? I'm from America. Right now, I'm in California. I'm in the United States. I'm in California, which is, famous in America. And let's see, a couple more questions. Welcome, everybody, by the way. It's great to see so many people joining. I'm glad that everyone's here. Let's see. I often overpronounce the R at the end of the word, like fear, river, etc. So if you pronounce the R and you can say fear, and you can say it very, very strongly, imagine if you were very sleepy. Imagine that you're so sleepy and you just say fear, river in such a quiet voice, right? If you're very sleepy and calm, then your voice is much weaker, right? Fear, river, something like that. And now you can think about, well, now I can make the sound in a very light and quiet way, right? So if you make the sound too strongly, imagine being very tired and speaking in the smallest voice. And I understand this is a normal problem because when I learn new languages, sometimes when I learn new languages, I make a new sound and I want to say it very strong all the time. But of course, it doesn't always sound great if I do that. I have to remember, hey, many people are calm in any language, right? I remember the first time I was learning Chinese, I could only speak in a loud voice. The teacher asked me to do a small test with her, and I could only do it in a very loud voice. Otherwise, I couldn't speak Chinese. So it took a long time, but eventually I practiced becoming quiet and calm in any language. Okay. By the way, if you have a question, right now we're asking questions about English pronunciation or anything like that. This is the kind of pronunciation that I love to teach. And so take a look at my Patreon, which is linked in the description. It's in the description of every video, actually. Take a look at my Patreon. You might find it interesting because I have a whole course on English pronunciation there. I not only have a course on all of the English sounds, but also a whole speaking course about how to speak fluently and develop your connected sounds and connected intonation, the rise and fall of your voice. All of that is in my Patreon, and that's what you get when you become a member. And there's extra stuff too. So go ahead and check it out. See if you're interested in what I'm offering on my Patreon. Now, back to the lesson. By the way, we're now talking about English questions, right? If you have any questions, let me know. And it's a big help if you tell me another language you speak. Maybe I speak that language and I can use that to answer your question, or maybe explain a sound, how it's related to that language. Like, for example, we have a question, Asia and Asian, Asia, Asian. Now, not all languages have the zh sound. In Mandarin, for example, if you're speaking Mandarin, you don't have the zh sound. So it's hard to make it, and you might think era, Aaron. That's how a lot of Mandarin speakers would say it. But that's not quite right because ra and zh are different sounds. How do we get to zh? Does anybody know how we get to zh? Zh is exactly the same as shh. Shh. If you just say to somebody, hey, shh, be quiet. Shh, be quiet. The same tongue position for sh is the same as zh. What's the difference? Well, zh is a voiced sound. And so why am I touching my throat here? Because if you if you say zh, 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 you can feel your throat buzzing. Your throat is buzzing, goes zzz, Z, zh. Your throat is humming when you're doing this sound. So remember, it's just like shh, but you add the voice. Okay, that's how you say Asia and Asian. Okay, Esmeralda de la Fuente Tapia says, please teach connected speech with ng. How is that sound? Ng is really hard if you're a Spanish speaker because we don't have ng in Spanish, right? But think about the letter K. K, 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 k. Where's your tongue when you say k, 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 k? Well, your tongue, think about your tongue. Your tongue is at the back of your mouth, the top of your mouth, the back, right? K, 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 k. Think hard. Where is the sound k made? The sound is made with the middle of your tongue in the back of your mouth. Now, the sound ng, ng, like in sing, sing, thing, hungry, hungry. That ng sound is made in the same place as k, as k. So I hope that's helpful for you. All right, so let's get some more questions, everybody. If you have any questions about English speaking or even about like American culture, what to say in a certain situation, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer. It's wonderful to see so many people here, by the way. I'm very glad to have people join this chat room and chat in English with us. Okay, let's see here. Risa Fukuda, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I recognize your name. I think you were here for my last live stream, right? Um, I'm not Phạm Đường Hải Minh. I'm not familiar with Elsa speaking, actually. I've never heard of that app. Do you like it? I mean, you said it's good for individual sounds, but maybe it's better to watch videos for connected sentences, right? In in my experience, the AI tools like apps and things like that, they're great for individual words. You're right, but videos like mine on my channel, my connected reading videos, might be the best resource that I know of for individual sentences. And there's other teachers, of course. There's a lot of other teachers who have made videos about connected reading and connecting sentences in a natural way. So maybe my style isn't your favorite. That's fine. You can go check out some other teacher videos too. But one of the best ways to practice sentence fluency is to listen over and over and over and over. If you listen many, many times to the same sentence or the same paragraph, you'll realize, hey, these sounds are connected. Well, those sounds are connected. And it'll become very natural for you. Repeated listening. Repeated listening. That's my favorite way to study listening. And that listening helps my speaking too. If my listening improves, my speaking improves too. And the same will happen for you. Will Banana, what is the difference between New Zealand English and American English? Well, I've never been to New Zealand. I don't really know much about New Zealand English, but I know that there's a lot of good teachers on YouTube who are from New Zealand. So see if you have any recommendations. And if you find one that you like, let me know so that I can check out how they teach too. Chelsea, you're welcome. Of course, I'm happy to help, Chelsea. A Fong says, please teach me slap and slept. Okay, this is a great combination of sounds. Ah, eh, ah, eh. You hear the difference? Slap, slept. When you fall asleep, right? So the word for slap is ah. It's your mouth is open a lot and your tongue is down. Ah, ah. Your tongue is a little bit forward. It's ah. And it's a very American sound. We use this all the time. What about slept? Eh, eh, eh. Well, you can see I kind of have to smile when I say slept. Eh, eh, ah, ah. The difference is about how much you open your mouth, and of course, a little bit about where your tongue is. But think about maybe the easiest way would be to say ah with a big open mouth and for slept, slept, with a little bit more closed mouth. That might get you started. By the way, I gotta say, on my Patreon page, I do have a course about the American English vowels. Every vowel in American English shows up in my IPA course. So check out the link in my description and on every video. See if you like my Patreon channel, my Patreon page. That's a great source of support for me. If you like my content, you can support me on Patreon and you can learn all of the IPA vowels that I say. Any IPA vowel in my speech, you'll see it there, just like the difference between slap and slept. Okay. Let's see a couple more people here. How to start learning to write. How do you start learning to write? Well, I think a great way to learn to write is to read. You know, people say that you have to imitate, you have to have a good example where, I mean, you have to have a good knowledge of what your target is. So, for example, I have some books here. Just a moment. I just found a book. I just found a book here. And this is a book about history, European history. I studied history in college. And you can just find something that you like to read and think, oh, how can I write this myself? Well, historically, the country now known as Belgium was, at one time or another, the property of many other European powers, including the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the Austrians, and the Dutch. So you see a sentence that you like, you see some writing that you like, and then you just copy it. You copy it down and you think, oh, okay, I could, oh, sorry, I could steal this sentence for myself, right? Because all writers will take words and phrases from other writers. So the number one thing is to read a lot. The number one way to improve writing is to read a lot. And then just start writing. And start writing just the way you speak. And if you don't like if you don't have someone that you can ask for corrections from, then you can just write a lot. And the more you read, the better your writing is going to be too. Okay, I hope that helped. Phạm Đường Hải Minh, I'm so glad that you like my content. And I've never seen Andrew Huberman. Let me write that down here. Andrew Huberman. Okay, so I just wrote a YouTube there. I wrote a note there to check out Andrew Huberman on YouTube. Thank you so much. Risa Fukuda says, when I read English words, I don't pronounce them so strangely, but when I read sentences, I don't understand which are the links and which are the dropped sounds. Is there a rule? Yes, there are a lot of rules, but I realized that nobody has really written a book or a video course about all of the rules for linked pronunciations, connected readings, 连读. My content is all about connected reading and linked sounds. There are a lot of rules, and that's why in my videos I give examples, and the more videos you watch, you'll start to see I say the same thing a lot of times. For example, in and, we just drop the D almost all the time. Like 99% of the times we'll say, oh, I needed to buy some bananas and milk, bananas and milk, bananas and milk. And so the and excuse me, the and turns into an there, bananas and actually the vowel turns into n. bananas and milk. Bananas and milk. So something like that. That's a rule you can remember, right? The AND turns into just AN. And like I said, I have this stuff on my Patreon. My Patreon goes into a lot more detail. But if you're not interested in my Patreon, that's totally fine because from my free videos on my YouTube channel, which I'm always making more of, you can see the background. This is where I record my videos. All of my videos, I really try to I really try to show the rules as examples so you don't have to memorize these rules. You can listen to my videos. Like I said, listen over and over. You'll learn more and more rules automatically. And you'll start thinking, hey, this is this thing. I've seen these words in Alex's videos so many times. I'll just I think I know how to say this now. So practicing with my videos and other videos from other teachers you like too, that can help a lot for learning these rules. Okay. Benjamin Arrola said, or Ahola, because you said you were from Brazil. How do you improve speaking? Well, some other commenters have mentioned ChatGPT, and don't worry, actually, ChatGPT almost never makes mistakes in English. It's extremely good for practicing English writing. Honestly, um, it has its own style. So if you write like ChatGPT, people might think that you're using ChatGPT to write everything. So make sure to also read a lot from many different sources and listen to people from all over the world who speak and read and write English. So, how do you improve your speaking? One of the best ways to improve your speaking is to repeat after someone whose voice you like. So if you like my voice, for example, you can watch my videos and try to just imitate me. Pretend that you are Alex speaking in these videos. And slowly, after a few weeks of practice, you'll find that your speaking is a little bit more fluent because you're focusing on one person's voice to imitate. If you want to have a good voice in speaking a foreign language, try to focus on one person's voice to imitate. Once you really have that voice, you've mastered that voice in the language, then you can start practicing speaking in many other ways. All right. Ali M. Ali, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And welcome to anybody who's just joined. My name's Alex Thomas. Excuse me. My name's Alex Thomas. I'm from the United States. I live in California, and I do English videos on YouTube. If you haven't seen my English videos channel, check out my channel because I try to do really nice pronunciation tips. I try to help people that I try to make content that is helpful for other people. Give me just a second. I had to mute my phone there. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, Chelsea, I'm very glad that you like my channel. Like I keep saying, the most important thing is to keep repeating the same material. There are lots of things that I've used to learn Chinese, right? I love learning Chinese and German and Spanish and many other languages, but I always listen to the same things many, many times because I realized listening one time isn't quite enough. Listening 3 times is much better. Listening 10 times is even better. So I recommend if you like my videos, definitely watch my videos over and over and over. And you can download them. I don't care. Download them and put them on your phone and listen over and over. If you are on the train or riding in the car, listen to my videos and just really feel the way I'm doing these connected reading sounds. That's something that can really help. The repeated listening is something I think more and more students need to do to really improve. Okay, let me look at the chat here. So remember, if you're new, if you haven't yet participated in the chat, remember today's topic is about questions that you have. I'm answering any questions you have about English pronunciation or even American English conversation, anything you'd like. What course should I take first to speak English if I'm new to it? Well, you're already writing very well in the channel here. You're in the chat. Your English seems perfect. Your written English seems really good. I recommend just improving your listening, and I have a textbook that I recommend people buy. It's called Side by Side. It's a textbook that has one, two, three, and four levels. Four levels of, I think it has just four. Maybe they have more now. It's a textbook that I think is the best American English easy conversation textbook. It starts out really, really easy. It's very natural language. A lot of textbooks use kind of fake language, maybe. Um, or not fake, but not necessarily realistic language. And Side by Side is the best that I've ever found for realistic but simple language. Side by Side also made a video course that I think you can find on YouTube or other websites. Ali M. Ali, thank you so much for those compliments. That really means a lot to me. I'm so happy that I'm able to help you out with English pronunciation. What is your native language? What language do you speak natively? Bowen Ong says, I am struggling to form sentences. Do you have any advice? I um, I would say that imitating people is the best way to start when you're struggling, because if you start from nothing, it's really difficult, right? If you just have words, 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 and you want to combine them into a sentence, it's difficult. But if you memorize good sentences, if you think, oh, this is a good sentence, you're maybe reading a nice book and you think, oh, this is an excellent sentence. Or you're on social media or on YouTube and you think, hey, that's a really good way to say that. This is a really good sentence. I'm going to take it. Then you just take somebody else's sentence. And that's why, I like to make videos with a lot of natural English. And you can take these sentences from my videos and you can memorize them and then just change them a little bit to fit your need. That's all you need to do. Okay. Um, Beekeeping. Hi. Nice to see you. Welcome. Nice. Thank you very much for joining. Today's topic, of course, for anybody new is ask me any questions you have about English. And also, I'm curious if you speak any other languages. Tell me what you speak. Maybe I speak that language. Or you could challenge me to read something that you write in your language and you can grade my accent and tell me how I do. Noor says, I love the British sofa, but it is heavy. Any advice? I am not sure what that means. Maybe you could say the question in a different way and I might understand. But are you talking about some furniture? A British sofa? Maybe that's a reference to something I don't get. Marlon Lopez says, Spanish? Bienvenidos. It's great to see you. I'm very happy that you could join. Marlon Lopez. I actually went to Mexico just recently, and I got to speak a lot of Spanish when I was there. I was it was actually my first time in any Spanish-speaking country. Fue mi primera vez en un país que era hispanohablante. It was my first time in a Spanish-speaking country. I thank you so much for joining Hadil. This is my first time here. I'm like it. I'm great. I'm very glad to hear that. Great. Beekeeping, trying to improve your English through reading and exposing yourself to English content. That is the way to do it. The number one way to improve your English is to expose yourself to English content. Find things that you like to watch. Find things that you like. Maybe you could even watch some Spanish TV or Spanish movies that people have dubbed into English. You could listen to the English and watch the story you already know. If you go on Netflix, you can find sometimes a TV show from Mexico or Spain or any other Spanish speaking country, and then switch the audio to English. And then you get to hear people speaking English, but you already know the story from the Spanish TV show. Um, yeah, British pronunciation is difficult. Yeah, nor I'm not British. I can pretend to be British. I can read this book and imitate a British accent a little bit. The early 13th century was a transitional period in German history. The empire, neglected in favor of Italy, was allowed by the Hohenstaufens to decay at the center. With the passing of the Hohenstaufens, the empire entered a period of decline. The houses of Luxembourg, Wittelsbach, and Habsburg succeeded each other, and the Habsburgs retained the imperial throne from the mid-15th century until the end of the empire at the hands of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1806. That is my fake British accent. I hope everybody liked that. If you liked that, then drop a like in the chat or give me a heart, like, and subscribe. Whatever you'd like. I don't speak British English natively. I just learned it through listening to British songs, British movies, British TV shows. Oh, that's a lot of hearts. Thank you. Um, yeah, I would say that exposing yourself to English content, and if you love the British accent, if you want to imitate the British accent, there's actually a really great YouTuber that I can recommend. I think I need to check. I have a note here about him because I forgot his name. I don't listen to him very frequently, but he is very good at teaching the English pronunciation, and he is British. So just a second. There he is. His name is Jeff Lindsay. S-E-Y or S-A-Y? S-E-Y. Perfect. Jeff Lindsay. If you check out Jeff Lindsay's channel, you might find a lot of stuff you enjoy about British English, and he talks about a lot of accent things. Okay. Um, Joan Suarez says, I take sentences from movies. And Will says, are lines from movies the same as casual communication? That's a great question. Think about in your native language. I think, Will, you said you speak Vietnamese, and Joan maybe is a Spanish speaker. In movies in your native language, Vietnamese, Spanish, whatever, then are those natural sentences? Are those natural things that they say in Vietnamese or Spanish every day? Sometimes movie characters are a little bit different than casual speech. Sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes in American movies, it's 100% what people would say. But remember, movies are written by writers. Casual speech is just a little bit different. Actually, watching Americans on YouTube Live is probably a really, really great way to hear perfectly natural American conversation. YouTube and live streaming TikTok, it's way better than movies for perfectly natural conversation. But then the advantage with a movie is that maybe it's more interesting. You have a famous person or an exciting story. So both are important. And remember, people quote movies all the time. When I'm with my friends, we'll quote movie lines that we really like to each other all the time. So let's see here. I hope that answered your question, everybody. Mauas, sí que hablas muy bien. Gracias, muchísimas gracias. That's very nice to say. That's very nice of you to say. But sometimes I'm not very fluent. Hay muchas veces en que cometo errores en español porque no hablo con mucha fluidez. Hablo ahora con fluidez porque he pronunciado oración muchas veces. No hablo con fluidez. So I've practiced that many times, and so I can very fluently say, I don't speak Spanish fluently in Spanish. But if I have a long conversation, si hablo largo en español, Tengo que hablar lentamente. I have to speak slowly because I'm not very fluent in Spanish. It's much easier for me to read Spanish. Nor, I'm speaking with the American accent. I'm an American. I'm from California in the United States. So I'm speaking with an American accent in American English. Will Banana, I didn't know that. I didn't know that in Vietnamese movies the lines are fake. When I listen to Vietnamese, I mostly listen to YouTube. I use YouTube as my main source for learning Vietnamese, also a textbook. Um, I have a couple of textbooks that I like for Vietnamese, but I don't really watch very many Vietnamese movies, so I never knew that the lines were fake. That's interesting, or at least different from casual English. Yang Zhao says, "Hello, Alex. Nice to meet you. Recently, I've learned a phrase like swoop hair. Swoop is a shape. You know the Nike symbol, the Nike logo, Nike shoes. The Nike logo is a swoop, or it's a swish, swoosh. Nike swoosh. That's what they call it. But swoop is the same thing. Swoop is a shape that kind of goes whoosh, whoosh, like the shape. Imagine the shape um, of a roller coaster or something like that. That's what a swoop is. So if you have swoop hair, if you have swoop hair like that, I've never seen that phrase, but I imagine it goes maybe like in anime. Maybe that's what swoop hair looks like. Phạm Dương Hải Minh, it's great that I'm pronouncing your name okay. I know sometimes my Vietnamese is not very good. But you mentioned you imitate sassy characters saying bad words. And that's very fun. I love doing that too. But I agree, it's better to be serious sometimes. I've been in several situations where I was speaking with people, maybe new friends I didn't know very well, and I used a very sassy or rude word because I saw it in a movie or on YouTube, and it was the wrong thing to do. It was rude to say that thing. So I definitely recommend balancing. You learn the sassy or rude language, but remember to also learn the serious and normal language too. It's important to be able to do both. Uh, Adam Özdemir, uh, I believe you're from Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe you speak Turkish. When did you start your second language? For me, 22. I first started learning Spanish when I was 11 or 12 or 13, maybe. Um, but in school, right? I didn't speak Spanish natively. I still don't speak Spanish very well. Uh, I started learning German when I was 17, and then I started learning Chinese when I was 19, and then every other language after that I started learning after I was 19 or 20. I started learning Indonesian when I was already 22. So I hope that answers your question. It was definitely learned languages as an adult. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Um, Something I learned that I learn a lot from is through English stories like short books. Maybe someday you can read us a book with the text in the screen. Um, Beekeeping, I think that would be a great idea. I'd like to do that for a live stream someday. I hope that'd be interesting. If you would like me to read a book on live, please drop a like in the chat, or let me know somehow, and I'll put that into the schedule. I'd like to read a book on live um, or on video sometime. A lot of my videos have the text on the screen, so if you like following along with text, then please um, watch my videos and remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And Adam, I've never been to Turkey yet. I I was planning to go earlier this year, but instead I had to change my plans. But I would like to go to Turkey at some point. I started learning a little bit of Turkish, but then I forgot it all. Um, Mısınız is that's a verb? That's a word in Turkish? Wow, I really forgot all my Turkish. Atadarsınız is how you say excuse me, right? And of course, küsnüm is how you say thank you. Um, is that? Yes, I think that's right. Nasılsınız? That's right. How are you? Of course, of course. Um, I would like to remember my Turkish that I studied a long time ago, but when I get the chance to go to Turkey, I'll practice it again. And Yang Zhao says, is swoop a verb? Yes, swoop is a verb. It's also commonly used in the phrase swoop in. Swoop in. Swoop in would mean to suddenly enter, maybe in like a flashy way. You know, you swoop in and suddenly everybody's paying attention to you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for the questions. I'm going to have to end the live stream pretty soon. I'm going to wind down. It's already pretty late here in California, so I've got to go to bed soon. But it was great to meet everybody. I hope I answered some of your questions. Let me answer a couple more questions. Whale Hello says, are you a native speaker? Yes, I am a native speaker of American English. I'm from California. I live in California now, and I grew up in California. So, native speaker, check out my channel for more videos from me in my native speaker accent. Ali Emily says, can you sometimes focus on consecutive consonants? I just released an S and TH video. If you search on my channel, you could find some videos about consonants that go together. And then all of my connected reading videos are about consecutive consonants too. How all of the different consonants could connect in many different situations. So Ali, I think you might like my channel. Please check it out. I think you should. I think you should watch my liandu video, my connected reading videos. In Chinese, the word is liandu, so that's why I said that word sometimes. Connected reading is the English phrase. All right. And again, I just want to say, if you haven't yet checked out my Patreon, I put the link in the description for this live broadcast. On my Patreon, I have much longer courses than on my YouTube channel. On my Patreon, usually my courses, my videos are almost an hour long, and I go into a lot of detail about the connected sounds, the pitch changes up and down, and all of the different details of pronunciation, word choice, and fluency, speaking fluency for idea organization. So check out my Patreon account if you are curious about taking your English to the next level. I also have an American English accent course that starts with IPA, starts with learning all of the IPA sounds, every consonant and vowel, and then it brings you all the way through intonation and developing your accent in a fluent way for every sentence. So please, a great way to support me is to check out my Patreon. And if you're not interested in my Patreon, another great way to support me is to remember to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and share them with your friends. I hope that I can be helpful and give good English tips to everyone around the world. Really enjoyed speaking with everybody tonight. It was great to meet everybody and talk a little bit about different countries and talk a little bit about English. Thanks so much for joining. One more time, I've really had a great time this evening, and please, please don't miss my next live stream. I'll put an announcement on my page the next time I do it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.